Welcome to today's video. This is where we practiced made a mistake. Luckily everything went fine. We are heading for the workshop. We plan to complete the transmission oil change. It is automatic gearbox and we plan to train also the torque converter. The oil looks very good. We did earlier kind of quality check visually for the transmission oil. It is still quite blue in color, so it's not black as coffee, which is of course great. But because the vehicle is new to us, we don't know exactly when the last oil change was, so we are just going to do it now for the safety.
Let's see what we are dealing with and start with preparations.
I can see the transmission oil pan here and the transmission oil drain plug and the soft cap for the torque converter department.
I clean up the area a bit because we don't want anything to drop into the oil pan accidentally. Also, the torque converter drain plug area is a little bit narrow, but it will get easier once you get the oil pan out. The torque converter drain plug can be found by rotating the engine shaft near the radiator. Here is a closer look. The gearbox drain plug seemed to be a little bit stuck, so we made sure that the Allen key fit the slot properly. We will be installing a new drain plug, including the washer. There will be also a new overflow pipe, which I knock over with a screwdriver here. After draining the oil pan, it was time to loosen the 6 attachment bolts and also detach the heat shield. We took our time and tried to learn which one is the correct way to install the oil pan without interfering with the oil filter. Opening the drain plug for the torque converter was very difficult for me. Once I got it open, the flow started with small drops, and once more replacement air got in, the flow increased slowly.
It's very good that we waited for a very long time with the torque converter to drain. We waited for more than 30 minutes and suddenly it started drizzling happily like this.
The maintenance reached a new difficulty level when we started to put the torque converter drain plug back in. The bit kept dropping and we didn't have enough room for the 90-degree angle for the torque wrench. Our location was also too far away from the service parts shops to get a new drain plug. Then we heard the worst case scenario sound.
Lovely. Sometimes the work doesn't go as we wanted to. This time we ripped the Allen key slot in the torque converter's drain plug. It was very difficult to open, I admit it, and I think I damaged the Allen key insert already a bit when I was opening it. And now we tried to torque it to 10 Newton meters, and somewhere before that it just slipped. You feel when the key has this empty feeling when it slips. So that happened, and luckily we have some Loctite in the drain plug, so it could be secure and we feel that we might be able to leave it like that, even though we don't know how tight the torque converter's drain plug is. It is just something that we need to admit and acknowledge. Things don't go according to plan, even though you try to be as careful as you can. This is the first time we do this maintenance procedure, and it didn't go perfectly. It is almost midnight in Finnish summer. This job has taken a long time. We are very tired, we are exhausted. Now we just breathe in, breathe out, go to sleep, and try to continue tomorrow morning. This is what sometimes happens at the workshop. You rip threads, you sometimes rip the key slots, and this time it was the latter. So the threads are okay, but we cannot tighten or open the drain plug of the torque converter anymore because the key slot is broken. Unfortunate and feels awful, but complaining about it doesn't make it any different. So good night for now, and let's hope that tomorrow this job continues better. Good morning. We decided that we will try the tightness of the drain plug in the torque converter one more time. We had the torque wrench yesterday, and it was a little bit over the 10 Newton meters. So we recalibrated and try with a different kind of a key if it fits in the slot of the plug, and if the torque is okay, we will leave the drain plug as it is. We are trying the drain plug of the torque converter. Thinking about the bright sides, at least all the oil from the transmission has been drained overnight, and it's not even dripping that much anymore. I'm going to clean the place of the gasket with the brake cleaner.
Earlier we had already cleaned the oil pan and the magnet and changed the overflow pipe and the gasket. It was also time to prepare the filter and install it to the gearbox. After the filter, we installed the oil pan very carefully and installed the attachment bolts only to hand tightness.
Time for a gentle push and hand tightening it so we don't rip the threads. These bolts are very soft alloy. It is some kind of either aluminium or zinc alloy, so they cut really easily. I'm cross-tightening these to their tightness of 8 Newton meters. Testing it with the heat shield bolt. It's good that I tried with the heat shield bolt first, because it slipped the threads with 8 Newton meters. So there might be something wrong with our torque wrench. This is where we practiced how to tighten the torque of 8 Newton meters with a torque wrench that starts from 10 Newton meters. Definitely not an easy task.
With the replacement torque wrench, it was time for action.
I'm getting scared. I'm trying the other one. The one that is in easier place. Ah, yes, there it is. So scary.
Filling the new oil to the transmission was messy but straightforward. First, you need to do the initial fill, then you fill the filter and the torque converter, and thirdly, you check the correct oil level at temperature of 45 degrees Celsius. We learned pretty much everything about this transmission oil change from the brilliant videos of Revive My Ride and Nuts and Bolts with Tone. Big thank you for those videos, and I suggest that you watch those if you want to do this on your own. I will link these helpful videos in the description.
The amount of transmission oil drained from the automatic gearbox. It was 8.5 liters. Quality check for the oil. Also, the filter seems pretty okay. There aren't any big flakes in the filter. This is the filter texture. It is like a spongy. Yes, we made it. I had the honor to stay in the cabin and switch the gears while my partner was filling the rest of the oil to the transmission. I was staring to the dashboard like a crazy person, expecting some kind of warning or error coming up any minute. Luckily, everything went fine and we managed to get the correct oil to the transmission, and now it's only time to wrap it up, lower the vehicle and continue our journeys. Thank you for watching this video and hopefully see you in the next one. Bye!